Hi, this is Dr. Eric Thomas for Nutmeg Dermatology, and I thought we'd talk today about eczema. Eczema is a bit of a pet peeve of mine, the word eczema, because it can be used either as a description or it can be used more specifically as different types of eczema. As a description, it's sort of like saying, yeah, I have a skin problem, kind of red, itches, don't know what it is, call it eczema. All right, that's can be coned down a little bit better. Sort of like hearing a vehicle out on the road outside. Within limits, you might be able to tell whether it's a truck or a car, but I bet you can't tell what type of car it is. There's a dog barking around here a little bit, might hear him in the background, and I don't think you know what type of dog it is. So that's the same thing with using the term eczema. And there, it's off my chest now, okay? So what types of eczema exist? Well, there is a concept, you ready for this one? Atopy, A-T-O-P-Y. And some people are born with that tendency. They may actually have some signs early in life or later in life. They might have what we call brown denny lines, which are a little special line there. They may have what are called atopic shiners, sort of purplishness. Later in life, some of those people, and some of you people may have this, may have nutmeg grater type skin on the arms or thighs. It isn't always a sign of a tendency towards this type of eczema. It doesn't mean you'll ever get it, but it is in the family of atopy. Atopy just means out of place. Hey, why is it there? They didn't know in the old days, so that's what they named it. So anyway, atopic eczema is sometimes seen together with asthma or with a lot of sneezing and hay fever. I like to think of atopy as the trunk of a big tree, and not all trees have three big limbs off it, but in the worst case of atopic tendency, people have the skin condition, atopic eczema, the asthma, and sneezing and all that. I like to think of it as a supersensitive immune system. Now, this is not in the literature, but there is an old belief that people with a little bit of atopic eczema may accomplish more in life. Don't know why, don't know if it's true. Maybe they're just that little bit uncomfortable. And there's also a little bit of belief, again, not proven, that because they do have a very snappy immune system, they tend to perhaps have a little less likelihood for a cancer later in life. Doesn't mean they're immune, unfortunately. So when does atopic eczema show up? Well, often in childhood, can persist into adulthood. It itches, the skin is red, it's not bright red, it's not pink. Different shades of red are important to dermatologists. And it absolutely, usually tends to favor the elbows and behind the knees. Here's an important thing that I think we should not overlook, and that is that studies have shown that because people with atopic eczema have snappy skin, many of them, and because many of them have been treated with all sorts of moisturizers and creams, a fair number develop a hidden allergy to something that's common. It could be to lanolin, it could be to fragrance. We test for 3 different fragrances at the office in our patch testing series. To an ingredient, I think there are 5, to a preservative, I think there are 5 preservatives in our patch test series. Fancy names, some you'd recognize, parabens and so forth, some you really wouldn't figure out. So a lot of people with eczema of any sort, especially childhood eczema, eventually should be tested to see if they are sensitive to something that we can identify. I think I'll do a separate little talk about that, which I refer you to, because I do want to get to the other types of eczema. So let's go to another type of eczema. How about dyshydrotic eczema? So this is fairly common, especially in the 20s, especially when people are under pressure. Again, it could be worsened by hidden allergies to metal rings and so forth. But traditionally, dyshydrotic eczema is along the sides of the fingers or perhaps on the palms. There are little bumps. There technically is fluid in it, but most people don't get there. They very quickly go through a drying phase. I like to treat dyshydrotic eczema as a two-stage condition. Number one, oh my gosh, here it's coming. Let's hit it with cortisone cream, whatever. But fairly quickly it will become dried and irritated, and then it's important to stop the cortisone cream. It won't help at that point, and to just moisturize and also look for hidden infection and hidden allergies. Asteatotic eczema, dry skin eczema, well, that's more likely to be in your parental unit or grandparent parental unit age, but anyone with dry skin, especially in the winter, we always do our song and dance to not make the shower too long, not make it too hot, moisturize, and of course, look for infection. And finally, there is a type that is called nummular, N-U-M-M-U-L-A-R eczema. And I may devote separate talks to these various ones because each one deserves more than 30 seconds to itself. But nummular eczema does tend indeed to produce little circles. The word nummular comes from the word for coin. Numismatics, for example, comes from the same root. So a nummular eczema often has a little picked up or angry looking edge, and some people confuse it for ringworm, but it's not. And it often responds better to a combination of a steroid plus a little antibiotic, whether topical or rub-on. So those are the major types. There are others. It's hard to put a limit on where we go with this, but I'm trying to make these little bites that are interesting enough to keep you watching and not so long that they make you go, oh, I'm so tired of this. So anyway, Dr. Thomas from Nutmeg Dermatology signing off again and trying to bring you some more things that will interest you in the future. Bye-bye.